It's Dietary Laws, because I think somebody's going to need that. Somebody wants to know this information. Somebody really is trying to live for the Most High Yah. I appreciate every one of you for joining us today, and you could be with anyone else. There's a lot of teachers here in Israel, but you chose to be with us today, and I'm appreciative of that, and I'm thankful to the Most High Yah for you. I want to get in the message, but I just want to say now is the time that we should be praying. Now is the time that we should be making our foundation and making our name known with our King, with our Heavenly Father. Do not wait for troubled times to come in order to develop a relationship in prayer. Develop your relationship today, yesterday, last year. I just want to put that out there. And like I said, I don't want to go into a message today, but I just want to put this word out that we need to start seeking the Most High. We need to dedicate ourselves in prayer and fasting, take time out and study. I know we say that all of the time, but we really, really, really need to do that. We don't know what the future holds, but I would really love the Most High Yah to be on my team when I need him. And I would like him to hear my voice and say, hey, that voice sounds familiar. Who's calling me? Let me see what's going on with this and get this straight. Romans, I think it's chapter 15, verse 1 says that the strong ought to bear for the infirmities of the weak. Even if you don't need help yourself for prayer, there's others out there who need your prayer support and your prayer help. Don't neglect your prayer life. It's going to be one of the most important things that you have in the times to come. We are what's called the body of Mashiach. As the body, it's not just about us. It's about everyone. If my brother or my sister is hurting and they are in need of something, I need to be praying about that. I need to be seeking the Most High about that. It's not just about us. That's why when the disciples asked our Mashiach, hey, how should we pray? In Matthew chapter 6, verse 9, he said, pray our Father, not just my Father or just your Father, but he said our Father, because it's not about the individual, it's about the whole nation, it's about all of us. So last time we talked about what is food. I'll just briefly go over some of the old slides we did last time as a memory jogger and a refresher for those who were here. If you didn't catch the first part, please look at the video when we put it out. The whole key about this walk is having knowledge, and knowledge tells you how to go about your daily walk, how to do things. I know a lot of people in church, they pray all the time, but unfortunately, they do things and they praying about things that goes against the scripture because they don't have scripture knowledge. That always was a puzzle to me. And that's what Paul, Rabbi Shaul, said in Romans chapter 10, verse 1 and 2. He said, brethren, my heart's desire, my prayer to Elohim or God for Israel is that they may be saved. Paul was always praying that Israel would be saved, that this great nation that the Most High said would be above all people would be saved, because Israel was always in some kind of trouble because we would not keep the commandments for some strange reason. In verse 2, Paul said, for I bear them record that they have a zeal of Elohim, but not according to knowledge. A zeal is enthusiasm that makes you do things, that makes you want to do things toward the Most High. But unfortunately, if we don't know the word, if we don't know and understand the book, if we don't know what the book says, we'll be doing things that's just not scriptural, and that may actually go against what the Most High Yah said in his word. Hosea says that my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Why? Because they rejected knowledge. We reject knowledge every day that we choose not to read the scriptures. We reject the knowledge every time we decide we're not going to be in a place where the word is being talked about, rather choosing to go and be in a place where we can fill ourselves and our souls with devices of the world, the movies and the television, the different videos and video games, all those things, wondering what's the latest thing that's going on today or tomorrow. All of those things distract us from getting the knowledge of the Most High Yah. So we got to be on our A game. He said that we would not be priests because we get his law. And Morton says, not knowing the truth doesn't make you ignorant. It's not wanting to know the truth is what makes a person ignorant. It's when they desire to just stay in a position where they just don't know what the word is saying. We began talking about what food the Most High gave them in creation, and we said that that food was fruit trees, yielding seed, and green herbs also was given for meat. Meat in the scripture oftentimes means food. It doesn't mean actual meat. Adam and Eve had all of the fruit trees and every green herb. He put them in the garden. He commanded them, you could eat off of all these trees except that one. Y'all know the story. We know they chose the wrong tree, which was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. As a result, got kicked out. We talked about mushrooms, how mushrooms grow from spores, not from seeds. We basically said it's your decision what you want to do as far as what you want to eat. If you think mushrooms shouldn't be eaten, fine. If you think they should, hey, that's a personal choice. So the first sacrifice mentioned in the scripture was when the little animals was killed to make coats for Adam and Chawah, or Adam and Eve. I believe also that that was the first burnt offering ever. And that first burnt offering, it actually occurred in the Garden of Eden, in that place called paradise. That's why the scripture is always talking about the lamb that was slain before the foundation of the world. Last time we talked also about Cain and Abel, and how Cain was a tiller of the ground and Abel was a keeper of the sheep. They both brought an offering. Cain brought an offering from the fruit of the ground. Abel, his brother, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and the fat thereof. Yah had respect unto Abel in his offering, but he didn't have respect to Cain in Cain's offering as he did Abel in Abel's offering. We said that this was a first fruit offering. You could go back, I believe, and look in Leviticus chapter 23. It talks about how they had to offer fruit of the ground as well as a lamb in Leviticus 23. You can go back and look at that. Cain brought the wrong thing as an offering. Abel brought the right thing. He brought both the fruit of the ground as well as from his livestock. As a result, we know Cain got upset, became jealous of his brother. As the story goes, we know what happened between Cain and Abel. Last time I did this message, I neglected these slides for the sake of time. I cut them out, but I'm going to go back and put them in per popular request. I think it's going to help to clear up some things too that I said last time about how I believe that they actually ate meat before the flood. I know a lot of people don't think that they ate meat before the flood, but they actually ate meat before the flood. Let's look at it. Abel brought the right offering, Cain didn't, but unto Cain and his offering, the Most High Yah didn't have respect, and Cain's countenance became wroth, angry, and his countenance fell. His facial expression became depressed. So in the book of Jasher, it says, and sometime after, Cain and Abel, his brother, went one day into the field to do their work, and they were both in the field, Cain tilling and plowing his ground, and Abel feeding his flock. And the flock passed that part which Cain had plowed in the ground, and it sorely grieved Cain on this account. So Cain was doing his thing, plowing his field. Abel passed through there with his flock, and Cain got highly upset. Jasher 1:17 says, it sorely grieved Cain on this account. And Cain approached his brother Abel in anger, and he said unto him, what is there between me and you that you come to dwell and bring your flock to feed in my land. So Cain was like, Abel, why you bring your flock through here like that? They eating my vegetation and all. They eat my cabbage and my mustard green, my collard greens and stuff like that. I gotta mix up my collard green, put a little piece of pork and stuff in there. Cain was doing that. So Cain approached his brother Abel in anger, it tells us. Verse 19, it says, Abel answered his brother Cain and said unto him, what is there between me and you, that you shall eat the flesh of my flock and clothe yourself with their wool? Do y'all think that they was actually eating meat before the flood if Abel tells Cain that you shall eat the flesh of my flock and clothe yourself with their wool? Because in Jasher 1:19, it tells us clearly that Abel told his brother, look, man, you eat my sheep all the time and you clothe yourself with their wool. Verse 21, and now therefore put off the wool of my sheep, which you have covered yourself, and recompense me for their fruit and flesh which you have eaten. And when you shall have done this, I will then go from your land as you have said. So Abel said, hey, look, take off that wool and pay me back for all of that fruit and flesh of which you have eaten. If you think flesh means like meat, somebody put me why in the chat. If you don't think it means like eating meat, I mean the flesh, meant like vegetables, just put an N in the chat. I think we're clearly proving that they ate meat before the flood. Abel mentioned fruit, and then he mentioned flesh after that was being eaten. In verse 21, Cain said to his brother Abel, Cain took it to another level, y'all. Cain said to his brother Abel, surely if I slay you this day, who will require your blood from me? Cain took this to the next level. He took it off of animals and the livestock, eat the flesh and eating his collard greens and mustard greens and all of that. And Cain was like, man, if I kill you today, who gonna require your blood from me? And who's gonna do that? Who gonna check me up if I kill you? So what y'all think happened next? Somebody put that in the chat. What y'all think happened next with Cain and Abel after all of that was said? That's right. Cain ended up killing his brother Abel. As a result of that first murder, the Most High came to Cain and said, and now art you cursed from the earth, which had opened her mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto you her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall you be in the earth. So the Most High said, hey, the earth had opened her mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. And he said, when you do your gardens from now on, your mustard greens and your collard greens, your watermelons and cucumbers, your leeks and your melons will not grow like they used to grow. You're going to have to really work. And remember, Adam was said to have to sweat to get his food from the dust of the ground, but now Cain's really going to have to work on it. And a fugitive means you're running from the law. The law. You're running from the law. And a vagabond shall you be in the earth. So Cain was always going to be on the run. He was never going to be able to settle nowhere. He was always going to be out there, that guy just roaming around. Genesis 4:13 said, and Cain said to the Most High, Yah, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Now, wait a minute now. That's all Cain could take. He talking about my punishment is greater than I can bear. Most High didn't say you was going to be like Job with all kind of sores and boils and lose everything you got. He still said you're going to have your garden. It just ain't going to produce like it used to be. He still say you're going to be alive. You're going to be a fugitive. To be a fugitive, you got to be alive so you can be on the run. But Cain thought in his mind, man, my punishment greater than I could bear. He was all about himself. Verse 14, behold, you have driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from your face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. Now, notice how Cain did the same thing his mama did up in the garden. How the Most High told him in verse 12, you're going to be a fugitive and a vagabond in this earth. And then Cain said that same thing in verse 14, but he added, and everybody that find me going to kill me. Just like Chihuahua said, yeah, you shouldn't even touch it. You shouldn't even touch it. I don't know what's up with folks where they have a zeal, Romans 10:2, but not according to knowledge. The Most High didn't say people's going to go around killing you, but he adding that. The Most High didn't say that if you touch that fruit, you was going to die. But some kind of way it made it in there where somebody's thinking wasn't straight. They end up doing things and thinking they know stuff that the Most High didn't say actually in the book. So Cain thinks somebody gonna kill him. Verse 15, and Most High Yah said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayed Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And Almighty Yah set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. I want to point your attention to the part where in the Most High Yah said to Cain, therefore, whosoever slayed Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him. How many fold? Somebody put that in the chat. All right, somebody with me? And so Cain picked up his stuff. He packed his little bag and he started heading out. And Cain went out from the presence of Most High Yah and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. Let's talk about Lamech. Lamech was Cain's, I guess, grandson. Let's see what Jasher says about Lamech. He went on his hunting trip one time. Jasher 2:26 says this, and Lamech was old and advanced in years, and his eyes were dim that he could not see. And Tubal Cain, his son, was leading him, and it was one day that Lamech went into the field, and Tubal Cain, his son, was with him. And whilst they were walking in the field, Cain, the son of Adam, Cain advanced towards them. For Lamech was very old and could not see much. And Tubal Cain, his son, was very young. Y'all think Lamech was old and kind of going blind, but he's out there with his young son Tubal Cain. Who did they see according to Jasher 2:26? That's right. They saw that old fella Cain. He was just roaming around because he was supposed to be a fugitive and a vagabond. So all he's gonna do is be roaming around, going from here to there, never settling nowhere, just doing his thing. And they saw Cain, the son of Adam, advance toward them. Tubal Cain told his father to draw his bow. Uh-oh, what are they drawing their bow for? And with the arrows, he smote Cain, who was yet far off. Man, why are they killing Cain like that? And he slew him, for he appeared to them to be an animal. Why y'all think they killed Cain? Because he looked like what? Because Cain looked like an animal. That's right. He looked like Sasquatch. He was that Bigfoot dude. He appeared to them to be an animal. And the arrows entered Cain's body, although he was distant from them, and he fell to the ground and died. So Cain was far away from him. Remember, that fellow Lamech had a problem. And what was his problem? That's right. That's right, Cody. He couldn't see. He didn't have his good pair of glasses on at the time. He needed to go down to the optometrist and get him some spectacles. The optometrist wasn't born yet, I guess, but they thought that Cain was an animal, and showing up, drew that bow and arrow and got Cain, got him, and he fell to the ground and died. Now this is Lamech, Cain's grandson. Jasher 2:29, And the master requited Cain's evil according to his wickedness, which he had done to his brother Abel, according to the word of the master which he had spoken. And it came to pass when Cain had died that Lamech and Tubal went to see the animal. They went to see the animal which they had slain. It was like, man, we're going to eat good tonight. Man. And they saw, and behold, Cain, their grandfather, was fallen dead upon the earth. It was like, we didn't kill Cain. And Lamech was very much grieved at having done this. And in clapping his hands together, he struck his son and caused his death. So now Lamech, like his grandfather Cain, he didn't kill somebody. Not only Cain, but he didn't kill two. He killed Tubal Cain, his young son. And the wives of Lamech heard what Lamech had done, and they sought to kill him. They wanted to be killers too. Everybody in Cain's lineage, they all want to be killers. I hope I'm never up in Cain's lineage. Man, they got some folks, they just all about killing. Who did Lamech kill first? Somebody put that in the chat. All right, good. And who did Lamech kill second? That's right, his young son Tubal Cain. Then Lamech's wives wanted to kill him. Genesis don't say all that Jasher says, but Genesis plainly and simply says this. And Lamech said unto his wives, Ada and Zillah, hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech, and hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man to my wounding and a young man to my hurt. He's like, I slain a man and a young man. If Cain be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold. Remember that? What Cain was saying? Somebody's gonna kill me if I go out there. And the Most High said, if somebody killed it, it's gonna be sevenfold upon them. Here, Lamech is saying the same thing in Genesis 4:24. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold. This whole thing is about food, but if they was out there hunting and they thought Cain was an animal, y'all think they was gonna kill that animal to eat? I don't think they was just out there like some folks be out there just shooting all the elephants and elk and the lions and stuff for fun. Oh man, I gotta kill me a rhinoceros because I'm evil-hearted like that. I just gotta take the life of some innocent creature just trying to do his thing, trying to live the life the Most High I gave him. But I gotta go get them tusks. I gotta go get that thing and put that head on my wall. I don't think they was doing that. I think they was trying to kill an animal for some food, and um, I ain't gonna go there. But that Cain, he must have looked like an animal. I'm just gonna say it like that. I'm just gonna say it like that. He must have looked like some kind of hairy animal. He must have been some kind of animal. So I think we can reasonably and effectively prove that they was eating meat before the flood. And we talked about Noah's flood. The Most High told them in Genesis 7:2, for every clean beast, take by sevens, those that are not clean by two. So we knew before the flood, they knew the difference between clean and unclean before Deuteronomy 14 came about with the dietary laws, before Leviticus 11 came about with the dietary laws. There was such a thing as clean and unclean food. And Noah did just what the Most High commanded because there was also commandments before the flood. Here it is in Genesis chapter 7 again, clean beasts and beasts that are not clean, and how the Most High commanded Noah because there was clean and unclean beasts, and there was also commandments, even in the Garden of Eden. Go read Genesis 2:16 and 17. He was commanding them. Most High brought them off the ark and he told them, you can eat meat now again, because before the flood, they were eating meat. But when they got on the ark, the Most High told Noah, of every living thing of all flesh, bring two of every sort that you shall bring into the ark to keep them alive with you, and they shall be male and female, of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind. Two of every sort shall come unto thee to keep them alive. Now, I said last time, he told them to keep them alive in Genesis 6:19 and also in Genesis 6:20. He said, I'm bringing them to you to keep them alive. If he had not said, I'm bringing them to you to keep them alive, Noah would have had him some deer sausage, some deer sauce pecan, some deer stew. He'd have ate all the replenishing of the earth. He'd have been having him some steaks and everything. I mean, he'd have been eating up a storm on that ark. He'd be like, man, we got enough food to last, a few hundred years here. When the Most High said to keep them alive, he knew it wasn't to eat them. In verse 21, it says, and take you unto thee of all food that is eaten, and you shall gather it to you, and it shall be food for you and for them. He said, go gather up food, and it's going to be food for you and for them. What he meant by them? Who is them? That's right. Noah was eating the same food the animals ate. And thus, on the ark, now he's eating food that could be gathered, which is non-animal products. Non-animal products. But there again, had the Most High didn't tell him, this gonna be your food on this ark. You're gonna become a vegan on the ark. If he didn't tell him that, Noach would have been having him, barbecue every night. He'd been like, man, the animals would have been like, man, I hope he don't pick me tonight. I hope he don't pick me tonight. Please, no, not me. Get him. Get him. Because they was eating meat before the flood. Thus Noah did according to all that Elohim commanded, because there was commandments before the flood. So there was a debate that talked about, should we be eating meat and stuff like that. This happened a few years ago, I guess. Some folks was putting out that Torah says that you shouldn't eat meat. You shouldn't eat meat at all. So we brought that out too. We said in Deuteronomy 14:4, these are the beasts which you shall eat. To me, it's telling me that I could eat some beasts, but there's some certain kind that you can eat. It was specific that these are the beasts which you shall eat: the ox, the sheep, and the goat. These shall you eat that are in the waters. All that has fins and scales shall you eat. So we could eat fish too. Of all the clean birds you shall. So we could eat birds too. He said, don't eat nothing abominable. Eat only clean things of the land, clean things of the water, and clean things of the air. If he said we could eat sheep and goat in Deuteronomy 14:4, the ox, do y'all think that Torah is saying we ought to be vegan? It don't sound like we ought to be vegans. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to go by the book, y'all. Y'all, excuse me. I'm just a fella from the country. I don't know too much. I just try and read this book and try and do what it say. There's this thing also, even after that flood, and even in the garden and everything, and Cain and Abel eating their meat, and Lamech hunting for animals and things. They was in Egypt, and it came upon a time where they had this thing called Passover. And the Most High said to Moshe, speak unto the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to their house of their fathers, a lamb for every house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. When he said according to the eating, y'all think they meant to eat that lamb, or was they meant to eat some vegetables? What was it, lamb or veggies? Somebody put me an L or a V in the chat. Yeah, that was a rack of lamb. That's right. That's right. And he said in verse 7, they shall eat it, referring to the lamb. And in verse 8, they shall eat the flesh in that night. Yeah, don't eat it raw, but roast that lamb with fire with his legs. You see how I say in verse 9, with his legs? Y'all think like vegetables have legs? Y'all think vegetables have legs? I mean, just put a Y for yes or an N for no. I'm just trying to figure this out. Does vegetables have legs? Where it says in Exodus 12:9, eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire his head with his legs and the puritans thereof. I know like there's a head of lettuce, but does lettuce have legs? He told him, said, eat it all up, let nothing of it remain until the morning. So the Passover, he said, you're going to eat that and keep it a feast to the Most High. Yeah. Mashiach even said, hey, I desire to eat this Passover with you. And he wasn't talking about no lettuce. So what is food? Leviticus 11, verse 2, it says, speak to children of Israel. These are the beasts which you shall eat among the beasts that are on the earth. And beasts don't mean lettuce and vegetables. We talked about things that has pig parts in it, and we talked about crayons, porcelain, ice cream, soaps, insulation, floor wax, photo paper, cosmetics, putting pig on your face, whipped cream, glycerin, rubber, chalk, heart must be valves, conditioner for your hair. That's why it's shining. Is all that hog lard in there. Paint, water filters, antifreeze, adhesives, chewing gum, chewing like a hog, biodiesel shampoo, suede for shoes, plastics, fertilizer. Be careful because they'll put pig skin on your scriptures too. They'll have like imitation leather, and you got to find out what that leather is because it'll be pig skin. I found that out too. And then people, man, I need to take my belt off. Somebody do that. Wrap the word in hog. We talked about Jello and marshmallows, gummy candies, M&Ms, hot dogs. I mean, it's in pills. If they say it's gelatin, gel caps for your pills, that's pig. Hairbrushes, they got hairbrush. It's made out of boar's hair, pig hair. Football is called pigskin for a reason. It's in a bunch of stuff. Do your research. All right. So here we go. Jumping into part two. So we're going to talk about seafood, clean and unclean. What does the book say about seafood? Deuteronomy 14:9 says, everything that has fins and scales you shall eat. And if it don't have fins and scales, you should not be eating it. And that's some examples. Shellfish is not clean according to Torah. Leviticus 11, just like Deuteronomy 14, says the same thing, fins and scales. And if it don't have fins and scales, don't eat it. If it have fins and scales, like that fish in that photo, make sure it's got fins and scales before you eat it. But if it has fins but no scales, like this fish on the bottom, what's the name of that fish on the bottom picture? Anybody? That's right, catfish. Excuse this picture for being grainy. It's best I could find.
Something else the Bible tells us we should stay away from is any kind of shellfish. Shrimp, crabs, clams, oysters, lobsters. Again, would y'all quit being so rebellious today? I'm ruining all y'all's lunch.
They ain't reading the book.
These are
every
animals
day.
that are scavengers. Do you know they live at the bottom of the water and they eat waste? They eat the excrement of other animals. And I love fried shrimp, but when I think about what that shrimp eats for dinner, it's just not that appetizing anymore. We should be eating more fresh fish, fresh salmon. Grilled fish is some of the best things for us. At our home, we tend to eat a lot of chicken.
Some clean seafood. I'm not going to name them all. The things in red is things I've either had or know of that's clean, like bass, black drum. flounder, grouper, halibut, herring, mackerel. Walleye is really good as well. I never had that before. I've heard of it, never had it. The salmon, be careful with salmon. If it don't say wild caught, it's probably GMO. What they do is they take a eel, which has no fins or scales on it, like the thing that shocks you, and they crossbreed it with the salmon because the salmon is this big, but the eel is that big. And so that's why you got a big old slab of salmon in the store and be like, man, I'm gonna eat good tonight, and don't know it. That's GMO is mixed with eel. If it says Atlantic salmon, then it's probably that GMO salmon mixed with eel. If it says wild caught, then it's probably clean. It's probably clean. So unclean seafood, catfish, clams, crabs, crayfish or crawfish down where I live, the eel, the lobster. Lobster used to be prison food up in Maine. It was prison junk food. Used to feed that to the inmates. Squid. Anybody in here like calamari? All your shellfish, crabs, lobster, crayfish, crawfish, shrimp. And speaking of shrimp, shrimp is nothing but a sea roach. Look how it looks just like the land roach. Sorry to break that to y'all. I know somebody like, man, I don't want to hit. I got some shrimp. I got some shrimp in my refrigerator that I'm gonna eat. Those are your unclean food. Those mussels. I can't. I don't know who the first person that ever ate an oyster. I'd like to see a picture of that fella. I don't know what came across his mind, like thinking he could eat something like that. All right, let's talk about clean and unclean fowl. Anybody know what kind of bird is on the left side of the screen? If you said quail, that's correct. Anybody know what's on the right side? A pigeon, a partridge? I don't know what a partridge is, but I call it a dove. When I Google dove pictures, that's what came up. Oh, surprise. Not all doves are not that white thing that y'all see flying in them churches and stuff. Uh-huh. Whitewashing. Even the doves, even the birds. So Leviticus 11:21, yet these may you eat of every flying, creeping thing that goes upon all four, which have legs above their feet to leap withal upon the earth. Have legs above their feet to leap. The clean fowl possess elongated middle toe and hind toe props and gizzards, not a raptor. I don't know about duck. The jury's still out on duck. Do y'all think duck is good to eat? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'm trying to find out if anyone's done research on it. I'm one of them stiff-necked Hebrews. I'm pretty stubborn when it comes to things. If I don't know, I'm not going to touch it. I might be missing out on some good duck meat, but I'm not taking a chance. The meat is red, just like steak. It does not look like chicken meat at all, or turkey. Dove is supposed to be clean. Duck was listed under the clean things when I Googled it. Doves, grouse, pheasant, quail, chicken, turkey, and Deuteronomy 14:11 says the same thing as Leviticus 11:21. Now, turkey, that's an ugly looking bird, but y'all think turkey is clean? I believe turkey is clean. Also, it fits the criteria of the clean birds. Turkeys can actually fly. It says the flights may range from 200 to 400 yards. Once in flight, a turkey may set its wings and glide up to a half mile to escape danger. Recorded flight speeds exceeded 50 miles per hour. A turkey's tail feathers helps with the steering and lift in flight. All right. What about them unclean fowl? The scriptures list a bunch of those. It says, and these are they which you shall have in abomination among the fowl. They shall not be eaten. They are in abomination. The eagle and the ossifrage, the osprey, the vulture, kite after his kind, every raven after his kind, the owl, the night hawk, the cuckoo, the hawk after his kind, the little owl and the cormorant, the great owl, the swan and the pelican, the gyre eagle, the stork and the heron after her kind, the lapwing and the bat. They eating bat overseas. All fowl that creep going upon all four shall be an abomination unto you. Unclean fowl includes the eagle, the hawk, vulture, red and black kite, owl, raven, crow, cormorant, osprey, stork, falcon, heron, hoopoe, bats, seagulls. Don't eat them things. I wouldn't want to eat nothing, be looking at me like that. You're not looking at me like you're going to eat me, are you? Let me quit. Deuteronomy 14:12-20 says the same thing as Leviticus 11:13-20. We've established we can eat turkeys. We can eat dove. It says it in the script. We can eat quail. Remember they was eating quail, Exodus 16. We can even eat pigeons. Them pigeons in the city better look out if something go down. Can we eat chicken? Is it okay to eat chicken? All right, let's find out. Can we eat chicken? Some time ago, I was in a pseudo-theological debate. We had some folks talking about, you can't eat chicken. You can't eat chicken. That's an abomination. And the first thing that they cited, according to the scriptures, because they always using scriptures, is that the reason you can't eat chicken is because chicken can't fly. Was it just me, or did we just watch several clips of like chicken flying? I mean, somebody put me a Y if you saw the chicken flying, or N if you didn't see the chicken flying. I was like, what book, chapter, and verse that come from? That chicken can't fly. I grew up in the country, man. You can't pull that one on me. Man, when I was a little boy, my neighbors had chicken. My neighbor today has chickens. And I know chicken can fly. The reason some don't fly is because they clip their wings. And you got to clip the right wings, because if you clip the wrong wings, they still going to fly because they built that way. I think we put that they can't fly to bed. It said that they're scavengers. Well, chicken, he eat anything. It'll turn around, eat his own poop. Well, guess what? When you get hungry enough, you're going to eat just about anything too. In Deuteronomy 28, go read that towards the end where it talks about they was eating their own babies and stuff like that. Well, guess what? If you don't have enough food around, real food, you're going to start looking at things that be like, man, it does say this cover is lamb skin. Kind of looked like a lamb chop to me. You're gonna start going to those places, and so chickens sometimes have to do that because they don't get enough food to eat. But I know chicken like to eat corn. They like to eat little bugs in the grass. They like to peck at grass. They like mustard green and stuff like that. And I know that because I live in the country. So we can put that to bed. I didn't find chicken as a scavenger in here either. Bird of prey, they try to make the chicken to be like a hawk or something. I think them hawks be after the chickens myself. I don't know. It was just all kind of excuses coming up, but we can put that one to bed too. The last excuse was they got 4 feet. Now, I don't know how many feet y'all think a chicken got, but Leviticus 11:20 says all fowls that creep going upon all four shall be an abomination unto you. They pull this one out the hat. Y'all see, like, the chicken, it's got like 3 feet in the front and 1 in the back for stability. And they were saying that made the chicken an abomination. Interesting. Well, the turkey also has 3 in the front and 1 in the back, but they say we can't eat turkey either. Guess what? The quail has 3 in the front and 1 in the back. If you could see 3 in the front and 1 in the back on the quail, somebody just put me a 100 in the chat. The dove, which you can find several places in the script, they was talking about roast that dove with flour and stuff like that. They was frying chicken and frying doves. He got 3 in the front, 1 in the back. If you could see 3 in the front, 1 in the back, somebody put me a 200 for the dove. And the pigeon, which is also a clean fowl, it has 3 in the front, 1 in the back. Put me at 300 if you see that, 3 in the front, 1 in the back. So I don't know where they're getting this from, because even Mashiach said, look, go offer that which Torah commands for offering to the lepers. And they had to go and offer, I think they had to go offer a turtle dove, which had 3 in the front, 1 in the back. The chicken got the same kind of foot as a dove, as the quail, the pigeon, and the turkey. So all of that don't fly. Do y'all think that the chicken and the dove and the turkey and the pigeon and the quail have 4 feet? Is it feet really? Somebody put me in the chat what it really is, what they really have 4 of. There you go. There you go. 4 toes. You don't say I got 10 feet because you got 10 toes. I mean, I don't know. Some people, they be grabbing and reaching and stretching, trying to get all kind of, I tell you, that was the best they could come up with. Best they could come up with. Abraham was told in Genesis 15:9 to go get a turtle dove and a young pigeon and sacrifice that with they 3 toes in the front, 1 in the back. And the Most High Yah accepted that from Abraham. In Leviticus 12:6, for a sin offering and a burnt offering, they had to offer a young pigeon and a turtle dove. In Exodus 16:13, where it talks about how the quails came up in the evening and they all got the same foot as the chicken. If you don't want to eat chicken or turkey, don't do that. But don't be trying to make stuff up. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 2. Don't add and take away from Yah's word to make people do what you want them to do. How did Mashiach view chicken? Didn't Mashiach say this about chicken? Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you that kill the prophets and stone them which are sent unto you, how often would I have gathered your children together, even as a hen gathered her chickens under her wings, and you would not? That's called personification. I think that's called personification, where Mashiach used the hen to personify who? Who did he equate the hen to? There you go. Himself. He's like, man, I wish I could just gather y'all and give y'all a big hug like a hen does with her chicks. That made me feel so warm and loving inside. I feel so, man, makes me feel so good. Mashiach just grabbing us like that. But what did he say about the swine in Matthew chapter 7, verse 6? Don't give that which is holy to dogs, and neither cast your pearls to swine. Did he personify himself with swine? Did he say, like, I'm going to be like a swine in any kind of way? No, he didn't do that. But he did that with the chicken, with the hen. I'm just saying, y'all eat chicken if you want. If you don't, do your thing. But there is no scriptural reason why you can't. I know we got GMO and antibiotics and all kind of wickedness going on here, but that ain't the Most High Yah's doing. That's man's doing. All right, let's talk about insects, reptiles, amphibians, and etc. Insects. Leviticus 11:22 says, even these of them you may eat, the locust after his kind, and the bald locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind, but all other flying, creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you, and for these you shall be unclean. Whosoever toucheth the carcass of them shall be unclean until even, and whosoever beareth aught or carries of the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even. The clean insects is grasshopper, locust, cricket, beetle, unclean insects that don't fly and don't hop. I remember one time when we first woke up, we was studying about how Yehochanan the Immerser or John the Baptist, how he ate locusts and wild honey. It was like, man, ate locusts. Man, that's kind of crazy. We looked it up. Yeah, you could eat the locusts, Leviticus 11:22. So we started looking for locusts. We ended up getting some locusts and said, now you try it first. And she was crunching on the thing. I was like, I was just joking. I was just joking. We wasn't going. She said, it's not bad. It's not bad. So I said, let me try one. So I tried one. I was like, yeah, it's not bad at all. Give me another one of those things. Not bad at all. About the third one, it hit me. It's like, man, this is a grasshopper. This is a locust. And I was like, I can't eat no more of this. It's not bad. If I had to eat it, I would, but it wasn't bad. You need some salt or something. You need some seasoning. All right, all creepers. And every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth shall be an abomination. It shall not be eaten. Whatsoever goeth upon the belly, and whatsoever goeth upon all four, or whatsoever had more feet among all creeping things that creep upon the earth, them ye shall not eat, for they are an abomination. You shall not make yourselves abominable with any creeping thing that creepeth, neither shall ye make yourselves unclean with them, that you should be defiled thereby. For I am Almighty Yah, your Elohim. You shall therefore sanctify yourselves, and you shall be Kodesh, holy. For I am holy. Neither shall ye defile yourselves with any manner of creeping things that creep upon the earth. So unclean creepers, chameleon, the snail, no escargot, mishpachah. I wonder who the first person to eat a snail. I think I ought to try and eat some rocks before I ate a snail. Frog, caterpillar, worm, toad, snake, eel. Remember that salmon, Atlantic salmon, is usually mixed GMO with an eel. That's why you got a big slab of meat. The lizard, can't eat lizard, alligators, turtles. Yeah, I grew up poor, y'all. We didn't have money like that to run to the store. If something ran across the yard, it was in trouble. I never ate no possums. I never ate no chitlins. I never ate no tripe. Never ate none of that before. Chitlins is hog intestines. Tripe is cow intestines. Talk about, woo. I'm like, please get me a clothespin. I need a clothespin. Probably gonna need some smelling salt before it's over. All right, let's talk about dead animals. Roadkill. What do y'all think? Can we eat roadkill? You hit a deer out in the street, you know you the one that killed it. Can you eat that thing? Deuteronomy 14:21 says, you shall not eat of anything that die of itself. You shall give it unto the stranger that is in your gates, that he may eat it, or you may sell it to an alien, for you are a Kodesh, a holy people unto Yah, your Elohim. You shall not see the kid in his mother's milk. The Most High says in Deuteronomy 14:21, if you find something that died of itself, you can give it to a stranger. That's somebody who is not Israel, not keeping Torah, or you could sell it to an alien. An alien is a foreigner, somebody who you also know is not keeping Torah like that. You can make a little cash by doing that, but you cannot eat it yourself. Leviticus 17:15 says, and every soul that eat that which died of itself, or that which was torn with wild beasts, whether it be one of your own country or a stranger, he shall both wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening, then shall he be clean. You got to wash your clothes and bathe when the even comes. For those who know what even is, then you're clean. If he wash them not, nor bathe his flesh, then he shall bear his iniquity. So if you don't wash before even and bathe your flesh, then hey, you're going to keep that sin. All right, what about eating blood? Do y'all think it's okay to eat blood? All right, let's talk about it. Leviticus 17:10 says, and whatsoever a man there be of the house of Israel or of the strangers that sojourn among you, that eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eateth blood, and will cut him off from among his people. You eat blood, you getting cut off by the Most High Yah. Verse 11, for the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul. The blood is for atonement for the soul. Verse 12, therefore I said unto the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood, neither shall any stranger that sojourn among you eat blood. And whatsoever man there be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, which hunted and catcheth any beast or fowl that may be eaten. Oh man, so we could eat beasts, fowl, that may be eaten. He shall even pour out the blood thereof and cover it with dust. So if you catch something that you can actually eat, pour out the blood, cover it with dust. For it is the life of all flesh. The blood of it is for the life thereof. Therefore I said unto the children of Israel, you shall eat the blood of no manner of flesh. For the life of all flesh is the blood thereof. Whosoever eateth it shall be cut off. Cut off. Do y'all think it's okay to eat blood? What about like eating pig's blood? Y'all think that's, I mean, somebody's catching this pig's blood in this bowl for some reason. I have never done it myself, but there's some folks around here. They will have what's called a boucherie. In French, it's called a boucherie. And that's when they slaughter a hog or several hogs. And when they slaughter that hog, they will catch that pig's blood in that bowl just like that. I have seen this done in my lifetime. I have seen this done. And they will take like 2 containers of salt and pour it in there with some other stuff and some seasonings and mix it, and it starts making like a gelatin. And they take that and they make blood sausage out of it. Blood sausage. Anybody ever hear of blood sausage? I have never eaten blood sausage. But man, what would possess, and I do mean possess, a person to eat blood? I don't even want to know the answer to that question. I don't know. There's some sick folks in this world, but I'm so happy that I don't even need the book to tell me not to eat nothing so disgusting and gross. But I'm thankful it's in the book too, because I don't want nobody, well, it don't say it in the book, so you can at least try it. It's in the book. You don't try it. But there's people, they will always provoke the Most High Yah in such ways. Isaiah 65:2 says, I have spread out my hands all the day unto a rebellious people, which walketh in a way that was not good after their own thoughts. It's got to be your own thought to make blood sausage and to eat that junk. I don't know. That cannot come from above to put blood in the sausage and eat that. That's got to come from way down below, way from the fiery pits of the lake of fire. Isaiah 65:3 says, a people that provoke me to anger continually to my face. Wow. We got some bold people that would provoke the Most High Yah to his face. What is wrong with them? That sacrifice in gardens and burn incense upon altars of brick, which remain among the graves and lodge in the monuments, which eat swine's flesh. People that provoke him to anger continually to his face, which eat swine's flesh and a broth of abominable things in their vessels, which say a broth of abominable things. Look, don't ever come down south and be talking about I'm gonna eat some gumbo and stuff. Man, they got all kind of abomination in that. You doing yourself some harm. You doing something in the Most High Yah's face if you doing that, because he see everything. He sees it all. Isaiah 65:5, which say, stand by yourself. Come not near to me, for I am holier than thou. Holier than thou. That's where it comes from. Isaiah 65:5. These are a smoke in my nose, a fire that burneth all the day. Family, I don't need crab claws or no oyster and none of that junk in my food. I'm so thankful that the Most High Yah is with us on our team and helping us to live a better life without such junk. I remember this fellow named Daniel in Daniel chapter 1. Daniel was taken into Babylonian captivity, but it says, but Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat. He was in captivity in a land that was far away from Israel, just like us. But he purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, the portion of the meat in that land where he was being held captivity, the food of the land where he was being held captivity. He purposed. That means he dedicated in his heart that he would not defile himself with that food, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore, he requested of the princes of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Daniel just didn't say, look, I'm a purpose. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick with Torah. I'm with Torah. Me and Torah. But Daniel did something else. Daniel spoke up. It said, therefore he requested. Daniel requested, he made a request. He's like, I don't want to eat that. The food y'all serving me in this captivity, I don't want to eat that. They even showed that to us in that movie Roots when Kuta Kinte wouldn't even want to eat the pork. He threw that pork meat away. Fiddler went around and got that thing and washed that thing off and ate it. That's not something we ate back in the day. That's abomination food. That's slave food. That's food for people who are in captivity in their minds and in their hearts. We know what food we should be eating. The food the Most High Yah have given a people that is set apart, that is holy. And Daniel purposed in his heart that he wouldn't defile himself. He requested. They said, man, look, if you stop eating this food, you ain't gonna be fat like the rest of them guys. You're gonna look like you slimming down and stuff. That ain't good. I'm gonna get in trouble. And Daniel said this in Daniel 1:12, prove your servants. Try me out. We gotta at least try it. We gotta at least try. Don't just give up. Don't just say, well, I ain't gonna do that. We gotta at least try. We can stop eating abominable foods that cause us to be separated from the Most High Yah. Because that's what it does when someone does not keep his commandment via dietary laws, etc. It separates us from the Most High Yah. Isaiah 59:2 says that our iniquities and our sins separate us from Almighty Yah. But Daniel said, hey, test us out. And what he was saying really is test the Most High, because it's on him. If he gonna allow me to eat this, then so be it, but I deserve it. I deserve it. Ezekiel said we was gonna be eating defiled bread in captivity. I deserve that. But when you purpose in your heart, when you purpose in your heart that you're not going to do that no more, that you're going to be on the Most High Yah's team, on his side, you're going to keep his commandment, you're going to make requests even to those who are in authority and say, hey, test me out if I start slacking in any way. He said, prove your servant, I beseech you 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. The only clean thing that Daniel could come up with in that land was pulse or beans. Isn't that a shame? The only clean thing. It might even get down to that, where they got so much junk in all the food we eat. Only way to stay clean is to grow your own food, get you some beans, and hopefully they can't jack that up too much. He said, prove your servant. Then let our countenances, our faces be looked upon before you, and the countenance of the children that eat the portions of the king's meat. And as you see us, deal with your servant. So Daniel said, hey, look, check us out. See if our face is like we anorexic, if we starving, and look at the rest of them too. And if you think we're not doing good, then whatever you say, I guess I gotta follow that. But try. You gotta try. You just don't give up and say, well, we in the land of captivity. Man, they putting pork in everything. I might as well go ahead, eat Jello. Because all Jello is pork. The bones of pig ground up, and they burn them and they cremate them. They cremate pig bones and add food coloring. And that's what Jello is. Verse 14, so he consented to them in this manner and proved them 10 days. So they went ahead, they said, okay, Daniel, I'm going to try y'all out 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, now if I was in church, I'd be telling everybody to say, at the end of 10 days, at the end of 10 days, Daniel and his fellow captives, their faces appeared fairer, more beautiful. That's what fair mean. It don't mean white, like some folks want us to believe. It appeared more beautiful and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's wicked food. And Melzar, the one over Daniel, took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and gave them all beans. Man, they had some upset fellas with Daniel. Daniel was not the most popular guy in the world. He took away their pork chops. He took away their pork stew, their ham hocks, their collard greens and mustard green with a little slice of pork in it, their green bean with a little slice of bacon. I don't know what they talking about. It gives it flavor. I don't know what kind of flavor it will give when I see pork. If somebody put bacon on my burger and said, oh, you don't eat that, I'm gonna take it off. No, you take that whole thing. Because in my mind, I equate anything, pork, catfish, all of that stuff, especially pork, because he said don't even touch it. I equate that pork with the same thing I look at as feces, as dung. And you're not gonna pull dung off of my burger, put the bun back on, and say, oh, go ahead and eat it. No, ma'am, no, sir. I don't even want you to make me another burger, because I can't trust you to do what's right and not just throw that same patty up there. Again, you done messed up. I specifically and intentionally look for places to eat if I'm going to eat out where they're not serving a bunch of pork, and I try and look for those places so that they don't mess up. And if I go to a place with pork, hey, I don't eat pork, I don't want no pork, I'm letting you know it's going back if you bring me anything with bacon, pork, anything on it. And I have had waitresses come back, here you go, sir, y'all ready to eat? And be like, is that pork on that plate? Oh man, you did tell me. Like, look, I'm gonna go get you now. No, what I want instead of that, because you're not gonna pull the pork off of that and bring me that same thing. Because pork, in my mind, is just like feces. You're not gonna pull feces out of the pot in the pot clean all of a sudden. If somebody was like serving you something with rice and the rice had some feces in it, and it's be like, oh man, I'm gonna just take that out. We could eat the rest of that. Are you gonna still eat that rice? That whole pot is ruined. It's ruined. I don't know about y'all, but I want to be like Daniel. I want to be like that fella, that purpose in his heart that said, you know what? I gotta try something. I know I'm in a bad place. I'm here in the land of my captivity, but I gotta do something. I gotta do something. I remember when I first got the understanding of the dietary laws. I remember how I used to pray, oh yeah, I don't know all these things that pork is in, but I'm counting on you to help me and protect me, to keep me from that. In these coming days, in these coming times, I think we're going to have to get back to that. This concludes What is Food Part 2. I just want everybody to remember purpose in your heart like Daniel did, and actually do something, make a request. Request. That means be intentional about not defiling yourself, because that's what it is defiling ourselves when we don't keep Torah. The next part is where we really gonna get into some precepts. But all praise to the Most High. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the message today. I hope you've learned something. I hope you picked up something from this, and the Most High be praised if you can actually learn to live this way. It's not hard, it's not difficult, especially when the Most High is on our side, on our team. Hope you enjoyed this message. We'll see you on the next one. I'll be y'all bless and keep you. Till the next time.